All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Tarek Unfiltered, where we're actually talking about what's going on in Canada today and what are the biggest events happening around the world. And what piqued my attention today, and the reason for me to do this video today, is what I actually saw in the World Series. So as every single Canadian is aware, this is a huge thing for us, right? Like the World Series, Toronto made it into the World Series. And whether you're a baseball fan or not, this was a big deal, right? Because you have to remember that we only got one team. So the entire nation of Canada was completely invested in this baseball team. Everyone in Canada was invested. And everyone in Canada was going for the Blue Jays. People that love baseball, people that don't even know what baseball is, the whole nation was prepared for this. And there is a clip that I saw that day, and I was so infuriated by it, I just let it go. And I kept quiet, and I said, okay. But now it's just like, you know what? Let's just go all in on this. And so we're going to talk about what happened in the World Series. We're also going to talk about the banks and what they're doing, and the Bank of Canada and how they're not reducing interest rates. Also super annoying. And we're going to keep going back to Carney's budget, because there is a lot of contention around this budget. A lot of my YouTube is actually littered with comments about this budget. So we're going to review it all again, because I think it's very important and there's some benefit in it. But deep down inside, let's start with the most important thing, and that's really the budget. And everyone seems to be so upset about this budget. Everyone's complaining about this budget, saying this budget is so expensive and it's going to cost us billions of dollars. And then there's other people saying it's not going to cost enough. But what I really want people to understand, does it really make a difference? And what I mean by that is, will it really make a difference in terms of how it all plays out? Because so many people are worried that we're going to end up paying the taxes for it. And I'm kind of feeling like no matter what we end up doing, no matter what the budget is, no matter who ends up paying for this budget, we're always on the hook. Like the taxpayer is always on the hook. And it's kind of this strange sentiment that it's like, well, we're going to spend all this money and maybe they're going to do it right and maybe they're not going to do it right. But every budget that has come out over the past 20 years arguably has not done anything to reduce taxes, to reduce inflation, to help the average Canadian get ahead. None of that's actually happened, right? So regardless of a conservative budget, regardless of a liberal budget, because I want people to be actually intellectually honest with themselves, because so many people are just upset about it because this is Carney's budget. And you know what? I get it. As a conservative, you might be saying to yourself, this is crazy. Carney's laughing at us. He's a banker. He's taking all this money to make his friends richer, and Brokefield evades taxes. Yeah. All true. You know, it's just really all true. And then you have the liberals that are like so excited, like, man, this is the best thing since sliced bread. This is a fantastic budget. Everything's going to be solved. Yeah. One can dream. One can be optimistic. But the reality is, I believe wholeheartedly that this budget is a lot more about Canada setting itself up to build itself out as a nation. Canada has come to this, at least I hope Canada has come to this realization that it has to be self-sufficient in one way or another. That this is the main crux of it, that Canada can no longer just keep dreaming that things are just going to work out as it's been doing, quite honestly, since its establishment. If you ask me, like, how does this nation even justify having some of these small cities that have a couple thousand people living in it? Like, I don't even know what the idea was to bring electricity and wire it, Wi-Fi and all these things to these rural areas. Like, not to, single out rural Canadians, but like, what was the idea of going this deep into the wilderness, having no infrastructure there, and then we got to build roads from, let's call it from Toronto all the way out to the middle of nowhere, and then give them electricity? Like, what an investment this costs us, right? And this is again where I see Canada right now. We are at the cusp of nation building. Now, you can argue the budget isn't enough. You can argue it doesn't go far enough. But on its first reading, guys, it was accepted. And the reason it's accepted was because at the end of the day, everybody knows it's do or die for Canada. And I think people don't grasp it. Now, I'm not trying to pitch you this budget. I'm not trying to tell you this is the best budget in the world. I went through this budget in detail from beginning to end, telling you what they want to do. But can they do it? And that's what I concluded with on the video. Can they actually get through it? Can they actually build these homes? Will the municipalities let them build these homes? Beats me, man. Like, I don't know, right? I don't know. All I know is people can't afford food. All I know is things are really expensive. All I know is people can't afford to do anything anymore. So, okay, this is trying to fix that. And if it went past the first reading and everyone's good with it, like I said, it doesn't matter, guys. The point is, we are constantly being played. Like, if you really want to make a difference, like you are committed that this is garbage and these politicians suck, hey, man, power to you. Put your name on a ballot and get out there and do something about it, because this is the status quo. This is the best we're going to get. I truly believe that Carney was like sent for us to save Canada. That's what I actually believe. Not religiously said to us. Nothing that dramatic. No. But what I mean is, this guy was enjoying luxury at its finest, living in England, working. Have you been to England? Like, do you realize that England is like the city in Europe, one of the top cities in Europe, where they have Harrods and all this luxury and all this fineness and all this old luxury? Like, it is just beautiful to live there if you can bask in its luxury. Like, if you're middle class and you're poor, it's a little bit tough. But if you got the money to live there, England, wow, what a place. And this guy leaves all that to come to Canada. To me, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me somebody crazy, but I just don't see the connection. I don't see why he would waste his time coming to Canada. What's the incentive of coming to Canada? Like, elbows up, give me a break. Like, who the hell believes that, right? But he's here, and he is here on a mission, in my opinion, to save Canada from America, because that threat of that 51st state, that's a real threat. That is a real perceived threat, and they got to do something. So they want to invest in infrastructure. They want to invest in homes. They want to invest in saving people money. Okay. Is it good enough? Will it ever be good enough? Right? That's the real question. Will it actually ever be good enough? And, I can't stand it because people are all over my comment section saying, oh, this budget's trash and it doesn't do anything. I know that. I started the video telling people they got to invest billions and trillions of dollars to get this economy moving. I know that. And you guys watch 1 or 2 minutes of these videos. You see my little clips on Instagram or TikTok, and you're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, man, watch the whole video. Like, it's just so annoying to be limited to this cute 60-second clip where none of your actual thoughts and intellectual property actually gets out there into the wilderness. So no, I get it, guys. It's not enough. It needs even more. I agree with you. And the hell with the budget. Ahead with balancing this budget. You can't balance the budget when you don't make money. You can't balance the budget when all you do is spend. It'll never happen. But we are a rich nation. That's something every Canadian really needs to understand. And this is where you push back on your government officials. This is where you push back with your MPPs and you tell them, hey, we got all this lumber, all this oil, all these natural minerals. Why are we broke? That's the question. Why don't we take this stuff out of the ground and sell it into the market? That's the question. So, is Canada broke? No, it should never be broke. It is rich, rich, rich. So then why the deficits? Why the insane spending with no return? That's the $1 million question. And that's the question you guys, instead of putting in my comment section, because I'm fully in agreement with most of the comments, to be honest, but for whatever reason, you guys missing the boat altogether. And hey, that's okay. You watched 30 seconds and now you're a scholar. I read the entire budget document. I went from cover to cover on that giant, annoying paper. So he doesn't get it. No, he gets it. He read it. He saw it. What you guys don't understand is that to do what's actually required, in my humble opinion, nobody would actually approve it, right? That's the truth. To spend money to build these pipelines, to spend money to take the pipeline from Calgary, bring it someplace, like say you don't even want to take it to Quebec. You're like, oh, forget about Quebec. Let's just do it in Ontario. Let's just go with that scenario. Like, we don't even have this infrastructure. Do you understand? Like, how do you ship oil in Canada? No solution, man. We send it to America. America gives it back to us. No solution. Like, it's just so insane. And you want to hear even something more insane? They want to give our natural gas to Europe. This is part of the big plan. They want to ship the natural gas to Europe. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, they probably have pipelines under the ocean. That's how they're going to do it. No, that's not the infrastructure. We also don't have that. So what are we going to do? We're going to put it on a boat. We're going to put it on a boat. Like you see Russia? Russia's got all this liquid natural gas all over. The whole war in Ukraine was that area in contention, that natural gas pipeline. Everyone's so worried about it. They got it from Russia all the way to Germany. Remember? There was a whole thing about that, right? They blew it up. All this natural gas is all over Europe traveling from Russia. All of it. And Canada has zero infrastructure other than putting it in containers, putting it on a boat, shipping it out. That's how behind we are. The last, I don't know, how many years, maybe a century, maybe since the beginning of Canada as an actual confederation, as they say, there's just been no reason to develop Canada. It was just so heavily reliant on what the Americans were doing that it's just like, hey, take it, charge us double. What's the big deal? We're always going to be buddies until now we're not. Now we're not buddies. Now we're not best friends. Now we're not lovers. And so now we got to figure things out the hard way 100 years later. So it's just absolutely ridiculous, right? Like the whole country is set up as a failed state. So if they don't get it right now, and they don't put these investment numbers in the way it needs to be, I agree. We're in deep trouble. But that's the scenario we're in, guys. That's the actual scenario that we're in. We're just so far behind. So if somebody wanted to actually develop Canada within 5 years, within 4 years, within 3 years, the numbers would be astronomical. And every party would say, no, we refuse this budget. So I'm pretty sure that the only quote unquote middle way, which probably does nothing and appeases everyone, is this unfortunate budget that we have in front of us. So that's my take on the budget. That is my actual positioning on the budget. We need to spend probably 20 times more to actually get this country running. Like if someone said, hey, we're going to take the pipeline, we're going to refine the pipeline, we're going to make our own energy plants, we're going to do all these things for ourselves, and that's what this budget is for. Yeah, I think every Canadian would be all good with that. But you know what? Public perception is quite a thing, right? PR is quite a thing. Look, they're spending all this money. So even if they wanted to fix the country, would our own politicians let them, right? And I'm not trying to say this is a brilliant liberal idea. Again, I don't want to take party sides here. This is about nation building. This is about our nation, Canada. I don't care who's controlling it. You understand me? I don't care if it's liberals or conservatives. I just want Canadians to get ahead. That is the main thing here. It's enough stripes. It's enough colors sometimes. Let the best man lead. Let the smartest person lead. Fix this country. Make it independent. But that isn't the case that we have, right? We are so dependent on our neighbors to the south that it has created such a problem for us. So that's my take on the budget, guys. That's my actual perception. Again, if you want to see the whole deep dive on the budget, you want to go through the actual details of the budget, that's available for you guys. You guys can go check that out, right? That's on my YouTube page. Check it out. You'll see it for yourself. Now, the thing that's just super annoying that I want to talk about, yeah, here it is. So the thing that's really annoying, hold on. So the thing that's really annoying, and I brought this up with the baseball game and the World Series, is this Prince Harry. Prince Harry. I don't know. Did you guys see Prince Harry? Like a lot of people are a big fan of Prince Harry. They think he's great. You know, all the royalty in Canada in general. We think these monarchs are so beholden, so blessed, so incredible. We love them so much. Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you, Your Eminency. This guy was wearing a Dodgers hat. And you know, it's not political news, right? It's not political news. But what the hell are we talking about here? Like, not like you own this country, right? This is your bloody country at the end of the day, right? Like people want to make their hums and hums and it's independent and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. but their face is on our damn money, right? Their face is on our money. So call it what you want. It's not my face. It's not your face. It's their face, right? Their face on head. This is the Dominion of Canada. Prime Minister very clearly said that this is the King of Canada, King Charles, when he was sworn in. So take it for face value. Take it for nothing. I don't care how you take it. But when I saw this little kid wearing a Dodgers hat, I just said to myself, how on earth does that even happen? Like, how much of an individual are you? What is your ego? What is your barometer on self-respect if you can't even represent your own commonwealth? Like, God, it just blew my mind to the levels of like, I don't care. I'm in LA. I'm chilling. I'm in Cali. Life is good. Everything's great. I'm with Megan. We're all having a great time. And I'm just like, I saw them walking because they had this whole clip on the internet, right? Who was attending the World Series. And when I saw, like, look, Megan, by association, she should be wearing a Jays hat. Like, let's be real. Like, at least by association, but let's pretend she's outside of that realm. Let's put her outside because so many people, Megan's just already so polarizing. But Harry, he's supposed to be the sweet young boy. Everybody loves him, blah, blah, blah. And this guy's wearing a Dodgers hat. Like, you wouldn't catch me wearing a Detroit Tigers hat, and I'm literally 1 minute away from the stadium. I would be like, yo, nation first, put on that damn Toronto Blue Jays cap. And His Majesty, Prince Williams, is wearing a Dodgers hat. Like, if that's not enough reason to just walk away from this monarchy, I don't know what is, to be honest. Like, it is so preposterous that this could actually happen in real life. Like, the Dominion of Canada, the son of King Charles, is wearing a Jays hat. And again, like I said, it's so superficial of a statement, right? It's so ridiculous of an observation. And I get that. I do get that. Like, there are way more important things to talk about. But it just shows you how entitled these guys are, how lovely it must be to be a prince, that you can even disrespect your entire populace of 50, 60 million people. You can just disregard all of their feelings and, mind you, live off them, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, they're living off our sweat and tears, these guys. And they go ahead and wear a Dodgers hat. I'm telling you, man, being a monarch, that's the life. You know what I mean? Like, my advice to the world, find a king, find a prince. You know what I mean? This is sound advice. When people ask you what you want to be, it should just be, I want to marry a king, or I want to marry a princess, or I want to marry a prince. That should be everybody's goal. Because can you imagine, like, if you had your own business, just think about this scenario. You have your own business and you sell pizza, and you decide you're going to have a party at your house, and you order pizza from a different place. It just wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't make sense. Or you own a school and you put your kids in a different school. Like, nobody in the world does this. You understand? Nobody in the world would ever do that. No matter what, whether you're in a car business, whatever industry you're in, nobody would ever do that move. Especially when they're paying you, right? Like, everyone knows these monarchs, there is a percentage of their living that come from us. There is a percentage of our finances that go to these guys. And they're just coasting, wearing a Dodgers hat. So he issued an apology, right? He did do that. He issued an apology and said, guys, I'm really sorry. I can even read it because it's just so bloody ridiculous. But he did issue the apology. He's like, oh, guys, I'm really sorry, blah, 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 blah. I'd like to apologize. This is what he actually says, eh? Firstly, I would like to apologize to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. That wasn't much choice, said the prince, who explained he was invited to the game by the Dodgers owner. He says he thought wearing the team's hat was the polite thing to do. Yeah. So, polite thing to do. Like, have you ever been to a sports game before? Have you ever seen that people are wearing the hats of their fans? Like, I don't care what seat you're in or who invited you to sit in it, don't wear a hat then. Like at least be honest. So was he lying? Like, is he a fake Dodgers fan? Like, what's worse, being a liar or being a person that's genuine about the hat? And I know I'm rambling on. Like, I get that, but it's just, to me, it just speaks to so much, so much arrogance, so much entitlement. It just reeks of entitlement. You walk into the room, spoils. You know what I mean? You just feel it. So I can't handle it, to be honest. To me, it completely took me, I don't know, as you can tell, threw me off the hinges, to be quite honest. But one issue of many that Canadians are suffering with, that even our monarchs are disrespecting us. Let's just call it what it is, right? Even our monarchs don't care about us Canadians. And then lastly, the biggest subject is why on earth the Bank of Canada did not decrease the interest rates. This is a big, big subject. And I think people underestimate the size of this and the gravity of this. Now, they give a lot of excuses, inflation and whatever, but what are we waiting for? Like, why are we waiting for the economy to collapse before we start to help the people? Carney is claiming that he's going to spend all this money in this budget to help boost the economy and stimulate the economy. And at the same time, they are reluctant to drop interest rates because of worry of inflation. I got a great idea for you guys. Drop the interest rates, let people breathe, let people buy groceries. And you know what? If the price has to go up because people are buying so much, I would rather the price go up a little bit than have this nonsense that people can't afford to buy houses and afford to buy groceries. There was an article that just came out that say people are delinquent on their bills. This is a study that just came out, that people are delinquent on their bills in Canada because they are buying groceries. So somewhere in Canada, there is a big enough percentage of people that cannot afford groceries, and they cannot afford their rent. They cannot afford their normal daily expenses. And therefore, they are getting 25% interest, 30% interest. God knows what the interest rate is at that rate for those kind of people, just to buy bread. So you know what? Drop the interest rates. Let people live, because obviously everyone's living so leveraged. Like, everyone is just in debt. There is nobody not in debt anymore. Everyone's bleeding in debt. So, okay, everyone's in debt. Drop the interest rates. Let people breathe. Let people buy groceries. Let people pay off their credit card bills at a decent interest rate, not this 25, 30%, 40% interest rates that are people getting scammed. All these money lenders and payday loans and all this scamming. Like, government wants to do something, get rid of that stuff. Like, that is the ultimate criminal for sure. But these poor people in Canada, these people that are trying to get it together, these people are barely able to survive. Bank of Canada is like, not going to drop the rate. We got to wait and see. I don't know what we're waiting to see. Everyone in business knows it's slow. Everyone in business can tell the economy is slowing down. Nobody knows what America's going to do. Nobody knows what the tariffs are. And everybody is just on cruise control. Everybody's just crawling day by day, hoping things will work out. Like, that's literally the mentality of business in Canada, is we are hoping things work out. And the Bank of Canada, seeing the lay of the land, right? Because these bankers, they know all the people, right? These are the richest people. So even if you don't get your data, you can still test it. You can still get the pulse of the people by just talking to your individuals. How many people aren't paying their bills on time? How many people have delayed credit cards? How many this? How many that? Like, these are really easy things that they can get a hold of if they cared. And what they end up doing is saying, we're not going to drop interest rates yet. We're going to keep it where it is because this might have inflationary consequences. Man, just let people live. Like, inflationary consequences. We went through that in COVID. And you know what? Even though things were expensive, people were buying stuff, right? That's the trick, right? Even though things were growing in price and people were buying a lot of stuff, it didn't stop people from dying, right? People were still spending. The interest rate was low enough that people were like, oh, I can borrow this, I can borrow this, I can buy this, I can do that. No problem. So let them. Like, it's not such a big deal that prices have gone up so much. Sure, it's a big deal now, because everyone's leveraged. Like you messed up the formula. You understand? You made the interest rate so low that everyone assumed this was their payment. People don't understand what variable rates actually meant. They didn't get it, that maybe their price could get doubled, their payment price. No one saw that coming for whatever reason. That wasn't obvious for people. But now people are at that double, at that triple expense. They are at that 3x, and now they can't afford anything. Now they're living paycheck. They're not even living paycheck to paycheck. They're just behind. They're living off credit card debt now. And you still think not dropping the interest rates is fair? You know, you got the Prime Minister on one hand saying he wants to help out every average Canadian. He's going to make lunch for schools so you could save $800. Like, you hear these numbers, hey, save $800. Here, we're going to give you a tax credit, $800. Like $800, not thousands of dollars, $800, right? Less than $1,000. But they will ding you on interest thousands of dollars a month. Just like that. You know, it is such a scam, right? It is such a scam, and Canadians are being so taken advantage of. And that's why people got to figure this out. Like, people need to wake up and see this for what it is. Right? We need to really understand what is going on here. So the budget isn't enough, needs way more spending, way more infrastructure, way faster. Will never happen. Our monarchs are laughing at us, right? That's clear. I think that's no explanation needed. That's straightforward. And the banks are waiting for us to default on our mortgages so they could take it for nickels on the dollar. That's the way I see it. That is what is happening in Canada today, that we are just being laughed at from literally every single position. So it's tough out there, guys. I get it. It's tough out there right now, but that's the lay of the land. You know what I mean? That's the lay of the land. So you got to really, really play it smart. And then even conservatives, right? They're even thinking of resigning, switching sides. Like, this is the news as well, that there are conservative MPs that are considering dropping and going liberal. So the whole world doesn't make sense right now. The whole world is in chaos. Financially, we're probably more in trouble than we are safe. But as an optimist, as a person that has always historically looked at life through the glass is half full scenario, give us a home run, Canada. Every Canadian is counting on you to give us a home run. So Mark and the guys in charge right now, I know it sounds cheesy. I know it sounds super optimistic, but the nation needs someone to help out. And if it's going to be you, great. But if it's not going to be you, at least be honest about it and make sure the next guy in charge can actually give us a home run and not have to be stuck cleaning up the mess that you made. That's going to take 20, 30, or 40 years to clean up. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, please subscribe. That's how everything happens here. We need more people to subscribe, more people to like. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is my take. This is Tarek Unfiltered, and we'll see you again next week.